my screen, I think. Share, and then go to here. Uh-oh. Can everybody see my screen now? Okay. Thank you. Good morning. This is a big honor. I appreciate you asking me to do this. It's something I love. I have a lot of fun with. Saying I'm, a world-class expert, but I'll share what I know, and maybe together we can learn a little bit more together. At the end, I'll open it up for questions. I think probably it's easiest if I just go through the slide deck first and then come back at the end and ask questions. So as we've talked about, once the pandemic started, on the mental health side of things, we really started to talk about, like, how do we get our message out better? What should we be sharing? What topics should we be sharing? So please know this is a little bit mental health focused, but as I thought about it, I think that's still really important, because really the whole mental health theme is critical to what all of you, whether you're in this sector or not, because I want you to think about we're all experiencing trauma now, right? Our brains are in trauma. I was just on another phone call with a trauma expert. These are not normal times. Maybe we've settled in, but they're not normal. We're also experiencing grief, and there's ways to, I think it's really important to know that we are grieving and to think about how we deal with that. So maybe some of the same themes that maybe you're not working at a mental health agency, but I think they're all our themes right now. So I want to talk about social media. It's all about engagement. So to begin with, I thought about if there's anybody young on this call, which I'm sure there are. I kind of had this panic, like, are they going to all say, like, who let Julie in here? Who let a boomer in here to talk about social media? So real quick, I just want to share that I've really been enjoying this and working in it in some way since about 2014. At the Community Foundation, we were able to start a campaign that won a national award. We also had a video storytelling campaign there that won a regional Emmy Award. That was really exciting. And more recently, I've worked at Finley Hope House and Nun's Life to use social media as a tool to raise dollars. And since the pandemic started, I kind of jumped into a little bit more of a leadership role on the FRC social media team, but still have a lot of great partnership with Sarah Stubbs and Rachel Walter. And one other thing I wanted to talk about age before we get going, something I've seen happen a lot of times, and I think you really need to be careful about. So say you're an agency director, you hire an intern, and they're either millennial, maybe Gen Z or Gen X. Now the Gen Zs are starting to come to us. So you see people say, oh my gosh, they're so young. They know social, let them do it. They'll be great. And a lot of times they are, but a lot of times they aren't. So I think if you're thinking about who's going to lead your messaging right now, don't let age be part of that. And as you go forward, don't fall. I think that's a dangerous trap that I see a lot of folks fall into. So why is social media so critical for crisis communications? Here we are, we're in the heat of the battle, and we really couldn't have a better, cheaper tool right now. So it's really, I think, our greatest gift when it comes to crisis communications. First of all, it's fast. In just a matter of minutes, your message can make its way around the whole community. The rapid spread of information on social media can be an opportunity for your agency or a challenge. So I want you to think about that. At FRC, I don't want to sound too opportunistic, but we did sit down and talk about our page had not really been crazy active. We knew we wanted to get it going. We hadn't really had the time or staff to do it. But we said, this is the moment. So we've really fired our page up. We've gained a lot more followers. We set some pretty clear goals about this will be a time that will grow. So I think being there, using it as an opportunity is really important. I was on a crisis communications call with SAMHSA, which is a Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration, a federal agency, had some real, national experts on the line, and they said, you cannot be quiet on social media right now. And they're not just talking to mental health agencies, any agency. People need you. They need to hear your voice. They need to see you. They need to feel cared about. So now is not the time to sit it out. And I think we've seen some spectacular examples of organizations in the community really stepping up. I think Blanchard Valley Hospital's done a wonderful job in this. I've really been impressed with what Focus has done. I mean, and I'm sure all other ones, but it's a time to build trust. And we're going to come out the other side of this. And wouldn't it be great to have more followers following your messages with a lot more trust? Social media is direct. We're to the point now where if somebody tells me, oh, I don't know, let's say someone said, hey, I heard FRC's not doing face-to-face counseling right now, and I didn't work at FRC, I would jump onto the social media, look at FRC page, maybe link back to their website, and want to know what they're doing. So this is your chance. We all have a story that we want to get out there now. We can tell it directly to whoever needs to hear it. So use it as a tool to share your messaging. It's a first touch point. This, more than half of Americans get their news from social media, which that could be a whole nother webinar, but just remember, and we all know that, but this is a chance to connect with people maybe we haven't connected with yet. And that's one of the things we're really trying to focus at FRC. We know there's more people hurting than ever before right now. And maybe you've never even thought about FRC, but maybe we want them to say, like, here we are, you can come, it's easy, we can do it by telehealth. Social media is everywhere. This stat just blew my mind. The average internet users worldwide spend on average 144 minutes per day on social media, over 2 hours. And the number of social media users in the world is expected to surpass 3 billion this year. So you have to be there. And this is one I'd really challenge you to think about. I mean, I'd say this is one of the most important slides if you can think about this. If you're using social media, it's a powerful data source for you. And I'm going to talk mostly about Facebook today. But if you're a page administrator, on the left column, you click on Insights, and there are all sorts of statistics there. You can see when you post such and such, more people like your page. When you post such and such, people leave your page. When you post something, people like it, they share it, they comment it. You can see what time of day people want to be communicated with. So all those tools are free. I mean, it's just what a powerful resource we have. So I don't think you should ever probably go more than a week without spending a little time thinking about that, or even if you can just take a peek at it daily. So don't forget those wonderful tools that we have, and all of the platforms have their own data that you can access, all for free. So some of the next thing I thought about is what should be some of our general messaging trends that we should all share during the pandemic. Wow, I think this is it right here. Lead with empathy. We're all feeling concern and fear, uncertainty. We're all being impacted by trauma. We're all grieving. We've lost normal. We're crowded together. We're scared. So whoever's leading your messaging right now, I think it needs to be somebody empathetic. Just be really careful, because we're all tender. And any way that you can show empathy and show tenderness, I don't think there's a better time for that. This is another really important slide, and follower-centric content. I really learned a lot more about this concept working in development or fundraising. So I'm sure we have a bunch of mental health professionals that are on here that understand this. I'm a CPA, so don't pay attention to me, but we are somehow wired to want to be addressed. We want people to talk about us. We want people to talk to us. We want to feel important. So when I write a fundraising letter, if I say, hey, dear Zach, my agency fed 1,000 people, 10,000 meals. We changed the world, and they all got went on and got accepted to Harvard. It was, and they're gonna change the world. Will you give money? Zach's probably gonna say no. But if I write the letter like, dear Zach, thanks to you and your generosity, 1,000 people were able to eat. And then tell that story. And at the end, I say, Zach, would you donate again? Zach will donate. And even once you know that trick and you see it, like intellectually, you understand it. When I open up a fundraising appeal and they're talking to me and they use my name and they say, I made a difference, I get sucked in every single time. So I think it's really important to take that same concept and move that to social media. So, you know, talk to the people, talk to your followers, talk to your audience, think about what they're worrying about. What are their concerns? What do they need right now? And just provide content that speaks directly to those considerations. So, you know, that feels relevant and valuable to people right now. So really be focused on what people need, what you think they need, not what you think you need to tell them. So I think if you can kind of adopt that language and that strategy, those are the pages that feel really personal and you really want to follow. One page I really loved is Visit Findlay, and it's just a conversation, but it's about the things we love if you live in Findlay, like, you know, things like, what's your favorite meal at Ohlers? And there's, you know, and then, you know, I'm always going to write margarita, but just kidding. But I do write that. But, you know, like just that conversation, like what do we all share and how do we come together around that? Build trust. I talked about this earlier. Just, you know, your agency can come out of this feeling like a real pillar in the community, a go-to place, a trustworthy organization. So I think that's a really important thing to have front and center in your mind right now as you work through this. Provide moments of positivity. Yeah, we're in a terrible time, but we can still have fun, right? And it's okay. And maybe that's the best gift you can give somebody. These are 2 pages I follow that every time I see him post, I just can't wait to see what comes up. One is Jarrett Krasaska, who was just in Findlay. We literally put him on the plane before everything shut down. He was just here maybe a day or 2 before this all happened. He's an author. He's been nominated for the National Book Award. He's also a wonderful artist and cartoonist. So right before we put him on the plane, he said, Julie, I'm really scared. I make all my family's income March, April, and May in speaking gigs at school. I'm going to lose that. And then his publishing things are, you know, not as steady. So, you know, that's the money we live on. So I've been thinking about him saying that. And he has a young family, a wonderful man. But every single day he gets on and teaches kids or adults how to draw at 2 o'clock. He makes it fun. And so he's a good example. Another one I've been following is the Shed Aquarium. They have this penguin adventure. So, you know, instead of, if you read the text on this one, they could have said, like, basically they're saying, like, here we are in Chicago, we're all locked up, it's not very nice out. But here we have this penguin, a rockhopper penguin, on the front steps of the Shed Aquarium. So I think there's fun ways to help, you know, get messaging across, but make it fun. And I think that's good. I think maybe that's the biggest gift you can give your followers. Provide opportunities for people to stay connected. I'm an extrovert, so this is really what I've craved, is to stay socially connected. So I just listed on the left-hand column some of the things that I've been watching. I've been watching Focus a lot. You know, Ellen, you know, if I see Ellen talking or somebody on the Focus team, I just listen. I don't know. I just feel like I need to be with that. On the FRC team, we've been having Ginny Williams post live videos every Wednesday. And Ginny's an expert in grief. So who better do you want to hear from right now? And I think too, you know, Prussia and Sheriff Heldman, rather than us have to sit around and think about what's really happening, you know, they went on Facebook and they told us. Dr. Coase and Scott Mullaney, they sit down with us. Those are just wonderful examples, and they're so easy to do. One of the most tender things I think that happened was Kareem telling us that we lost our first neighbor to COVID-19 in a video. The health department could have so easily just posted like, hey, you know, here's the fact, you know, 81-year-old man, boom. But I really appreciate it being, I felt like I got to have that conversation with Kareem. And then I threw a couple things on the end here of kind of from my own personal life. A lot of you that know me know I worked with these nuns for a while. And, you know, it's just, they're great at pastoral care, being kind, listening. So right now, you know, they do a couple times a week a lunchtime prayer. So for me, I run downstairs, grab a ham sandwich and a pop, and run back up here, and I get to spend 15, 20 minutes with them. And I just feel, and it's not about, it's just about being together. So that maybe they do a reading, a little prayer. And then if you could look at this, or look how the comments, they have 48 comments on just a little short post. So those are people saying things like, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm in Italy, and I've been locked in for 4 weeks, I'm scared to death. Or I'm so-and-so, and I've been, you know, could you, I don't know, whatever, my nephew has been diagnosed with COVID, or whatever that looks like. So I think there's ways, I mean, they're obviously well suited for this by who they are and what they do, but I think there's just lots of ways. And I liked how they do it. They actually use Zoom, and then they used, shared that out with Facebook Live. So those sisters they're in three, well, actually they're in 3 different cities, 3 different parts of the country. And then the other thing I've been doing is one of my friends who used to live here is a pastor in Florida. And so every Sunday I've worshiped with her church. So it's been fun to see somebody I really honor and respect in the pulpit and see what her life looks like. So I've been telling everybody I'm a COVID-19 Presbyterian. So I've kind of changed teams for the pandemic. But, so just think about, I think we all have ways like that where we could connect, and people, I'll show you later, people watch them. And then Rachel Walter, who was our communications director at FRC, encouraged me to put this slide on, and it was a great point. Just be extra sensitive. Remember, like think about people who have experienced food insecurity in their life. I can't even imagine how they feel today. I've actually seen some of my adult children, like one of mine is just really upset, you know, talks about food a lot, thinks about food a lot. So and she's never had food insecurity. So just be extra sensitive and think about whatever you're saying, like we're in a trauma, let's try not to re-traumatize anyone. And this is one of the things I think this might be my own saying is karma posts. And I'm not talking about my current boss or my current funder, but you know, this happens to all of us. Somebody says, I really need you to post something I read in the Harvard Business Review this morning. And then I'm thinking, like, that's a wonderful fact, but no one wants to see that on social media. No one's going to connect with it. It's not going to build engagement, but sometimes you just have to post what someone asks you. But I would encourage you to really hold your ground. If you have a strategy, you can say, this is not part of our strategy right now. But the thing I've been thinking a lot about on social when I read it is, like, some posts I can just feel Charlie Brown's teacher, that wah, 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 wah. So, you know, don't be Charlie Brown's teacher. Don't just bomb facts out at people. I don't, maybe I'm different, but for me, they just make me hurt. I don't, you know, there's better delivery methods, I think. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is creating a social strategy. And I'm just going to show you the FRC strategy. We're going to give you the whole playbook. But you should have a strategy. And of course, with any strategy, you start with your goals, right? And so these are our strategies right now. Build awareness that we have services available. You can access them by video or phone. And then number 2, here's how you do it. You know, this is when we're open. This is when you call. And then the third piece is we're trying to share these resilience messages. And we didn't just make these up. These came from an expert. So, you know, we took the best research and we're trying to build our posts around it. So the things that we can build resilience are control, connectedness, contribution, and competency. So we've talked about, you know, try to keep a schedule, you know, still get up in the morning, wash your hair, brush your teeth, We've talked a lot about connectedness. We're physically distanced. We don't need to be socially disconnected. Trying to make a difference. It helps our community, but it makes you feel good. So those are kind of our messages. I'm sure you all will have different ones, but that's where we're focused right now. And then we put together a simple Excel spreadsheet. That's our plan for a week. And we just spend maybe less than an hour on Monday morning, usually huddle up. What are we thinking about? What do we want to do? Where are we going to spend a little bit on this? And it just gives us a game plan so we're not getting caught in a rut. And it also puts together, we were just talking yesterday, we love that hive thinking. So, I may get just continually stuck in social connectedness because that's what I need right now and forget what someone else needs. So I've seen these. I would say if you could create a plan, it's ideal. It can be a scrap of paper. I'd say this is a pretty middle average plan. I've seen others that are so detailed, but as you can see, we kind of have what we're going to post and our call to action. Every single post we do, we want something to happen, like schedule an appointment, or know we're here to help, or here's one more way you can be more resilient. So back to that, here, our call to action: schedule an appointment at FRC. Here's how to schedule. Number 2, exercise self-care, build resiliency. And number 3, here's a resource you might like. And I shared this post because if you saw, I didn't make it into a video, but when it was posted, it was actually a little video. So the spray comes out of the Lysol cans and those stars twinkle. And this is one of our employees, Nicole, who came to work looking like this once. I don't know, it made us happy, kind of tied in the who are you going to call. So I made it a fun Sunday night post. And there's details on there, okay, they're there, they look fun. I had a little giggle. So those are some of the ways that we've been sharing things. The other thing is match your platforms to demographics. I'm going to talk about Facebook because the people I know who are experts and make their living in social media still say that Findlay is a very, very heavy Facebook community. But I also understand different age groups, different demographics have different platforms. On the left is the FRC Instagram page. So if you can see, those are a series of posts. So each day, 6 days a week, we're posting one of our staff members holding like a pro tip about, some sort of inspirational resilience tip. And this has been a lot of fun. It's been easy. They're the kind of images that fit well with a square. I just have people take their own picture, write their own note, text it to me. I'm not trying to create a lot of, I think it's a great messaging that I don't have to put a lot of work in to create. I probably spend less than 5 minutes per day on those posts. And then on the right, we also have Instagram stories and Facebook stories. And that picture is of Sarah Stubbs, who's kind of our, Ginny is our, people love Ginny on Facebook Live and people love Sarah too. So especially young people. So Sarah has done this beautiful thing where she's each day does a 5-minute mindfulness skill and walks through it with you. So had a lot of engagement around that. She posts those in our Instagram stories. And if you haven't had a chance, those are really sweet. And if you're not doing mindfulness, I don't know how you're keeping it together during this, because I think that's the only thing that's keeping me going. And finally, remain flexible, especially during this changing landscape. For instance, let's say last Sunday I had scheduled that goofy picture of who you gonna call, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man Ghostbusters, and which I thought was funny when I made it. And I scheduled that post. What happens if that day the health department had said, multiple people had passed away, or we had a lot of new diagnoses? That would have been terrible, terrible place to be. So if you are scheduling your posts, and I know a lot of people use Hootsuite, or you can schedule like Facebook within the actual program, just be really thoughtful. And whoever scheduled that needs to be thinking about how, when it goes live, what that day looks like, because I don't know, just things are changing so quickly. And I remember one time at the Community Foundation, I had this, I can't remember what it was, but it seemed funny and cool and hip to me, whatever. And that was the day of the Boston Marathon bombing. And so, you know, it was like, whoa, that needs to go down right now. So you just be sensitive to those things that are happening around us. And then this is the final piece I wanted to share, is really to get to the, you know, the crux of the conversation is about engagement. So without engagement, you're really just streaming into a void. And if you look at, you can post 50 shares in a week, and you can go to your insights, and you might see 200 people saw those. Was that really worth your time? I would contend probably not. So I'll start by talking about what engagement means, and I'm going to use Facebook as the example, but you can also, I mean, all the other platforms have similar metrics. So on Facebook, if you look at on the right, the image, it says Family Resource Center. I just grabbed this off our page on April 9th. And right on the front page, it said in the last 28 days, we had reached 27,600 people. And we had 6,435 people engage with those posts. And then we had added, I can't see that. Sorry. 100, I think, I can't see that with my images here, but 100, I think it's 109 new followers during those 4 weeks. So what engagement means in Facebook is someone clicked on your post, they liked it, they shared it, they commented on it, they watched your video, click through to a link you shared, or they followed a call to action button. So for instance, here would be like a post might have had like donate now. So those are kind of what engagement. So it's somebody who didn't just look at your thing scrolling, it's somebody who did something with you. So that's engagement. Reach is how many people saw your ad. And so this image is of a series of our posts. I just did a quick snip of it. And it tells me each post, how many people saw it. So if you look at ours, so here's one of Ginny, Facebook Live. We can help you while you stay safe at home. Call us. Almost 3,000 people saw that post. Here's Sarah when she launched the Mindful Moments series. She also made a little video. And if you haven't seen that, it's really cute too. Oops, sorry. I keep thinking I can scroll on this. And then you can see some of our posts were pretty bad, like, right? Like here's today's resilience pro tip. Only 570 people saw it. So it tells you how many people it reached, how many people engaged with it. So, and I want you to know there's two kinds of reach. So there's organic, and that's just you posted it, maybe some of your friends shared it. What happens without a dollar being put to it? So you can see, for instance, Sarah's video about mindful moments. That thing went wild. Almost 3,000 people saw that with no boost at all. And then the dark orange are things that we paid for. So on a typical post, we probably would pay, if we thought it was really important during this time, I might pay $5 to boost it. But just remember, I just bought a bunch of Courier ads, and I love the Courier. I've been reading it for 55 years now. But think about what $5 gets you that targeted. I could say for Sarah, for Ginny, I only want that to go to Hancock County. I only want it to go to women. I could even go deeper and say I only want it, I don't know, I could even go, I want people in Hancock County who are like Catholic things. I mean, whatever you decide that can look like, there's almost no limit to how you can drill down. So that's really important to remember. It's a bargain. I know, I guess it's up to you, and I know everybody doesn't have budget, but I think if you're gonna try to do social with any depth, you probably should count on having some budget for this. So the great mystery, and so and this is something no one ever knows the answer to, what it is. If you talk to people that work in this all the time, they're always speculating. It changes at least quarterly, but the Facebook or any of these other has an algorithm, and it tries to show you what it thinks you want. So my example would be if every time FRC posts, then I'm on as Julie Brown, you know, I want to give it a little more energy. I click like, then Facebook's going to say, Julie Brown, she loves that FRC stuff. And every single time that comes up, I'm going to see it. But if maybe only Ginny and Julie Brown are clicking on FRC stuff, we're almost the only two people that'll see it. The rest of the world, it's going to think like, no one engages with this page, no one wants to see it, and it's not going to get very much reach at all. So that's this whole engagement piece. Like if you're just doing that, you're just screaming into a vacuum, you know, into that void. So right now, I looked up what the latest info I could find on the Facebook algorithm, but it places emphasis on displaying content from your friends and connections. So it might say, Julie Brown clicks on everything that Zach Thomas posts, and then Zach Thomas likes something, and then Facebook would be like, I bet Julie Brown would like that. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. And so that's how it's happening, and you'll never fully understand it, but we do know some of the things that really work and can kind of, I don't know, game that algorithm. So here's the top 3 ranking signals that Facebook uses, who a user typically interacts with. So I put this picture up. This is a bar in Great Falls, Montana that I think is probably the funniest place I've ever been. New York Times said it was the campiest bar in America. There's mermaids, and then this picture of Piano Pat, who has been a bar singer for maybe close to 70 years now. Just the cutest, funniest place you could ever go. So every time Sip and Dip Great Falls posts, even though I'm here in Ohio, Julie Brown clicks like. And so every time going forward, I'm always going to see that Facebook's going to deliver that to me. The other thing is Facebook pays close attention to what type of media is in the post. So if Julie Brown just loves videos every single time, I'm going to get to see more videos than somebody else that just clicks on links or somebody likes photos. So again, back to Sip and Dip and Piano Pat, I love great visual, a visual image, a face. So I think if you looked at my stuff, I would be more prone to click on somebody that seems like I care about. So that would be another reason I'd be delivered to me. And then finally, the popularity of a post. You guys ever noticed, like, maybe somebody will have a post like, I don't know, congratulations, my son just got into medical school. And then everybody starts clicking on it and liking it. It seems like for a whole day, every single time you look at your phone, that post is up at the top. It's because it's so popular among your friends. Your friends are all engaging with it. So Facebook just keeps sending it to me like, that's great. So that's what I mean by popularity of posts. So how do you build social engagement? Really, this is what it's all about, right? So I'd say one thing is, remember, it's kind of an experiment. You have a lot of fun with it. Try different things, pay attention to what works, and see what happens. It's fun. So first of all, Facebook does give preference to videos. And this image is from the FRC page from yesterday, I think. If you look at our videos, the average reach is 2,305 people, where a photo is about 1,000 people. And you can also see the engagement numbers are crazy high. So Facebook does give preference to videos. So that's why those Facebook Lives are working. And then even now, when you try to post a video, Facebook will even tell you, like, if you do longer than 3 minutes, we'll give you even more bump. So we don't do that very often. I think it's because I have about 1 minute attention span. So I don't know, a 3-minute video, but it's up to you. But Focus, for instance, are doing whole conversations, or the nuns I talked about, they're doing a 20-minute conversation. So those are working. other thing is, have you thought about these, I hope I can get to this, animated posts. I have to move. See how that's twinkling? So if Canva is a free program, you're not using it, you should. But they have this brand new thing within the last couple months, and it's animated posts. It's super, this probably took me, I just dropped those pictures in 5 minutes, 10 minutes to make. So what I'm really doing though, it's fun, right? When you see that go by, but I'm also faking Facebook out, because what that is a little video. So that's a new thing that's brand new. I just watched a whole webinar about it. It's kind of like, there's one like brand new tip that you knew everything already about social. That's your new tip for today. But I don't know, it's just so, I think they're so fun. So, okay, another thing, analyze your most popular posts. This is from our FRC page, post reach. It has the date at the bottom, the number of people that see it. So I'm gonna pay super close attention to what's working, right? So if you look at ours, it's this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So whatever that is, that's the magic recipe, right? And we'll probably all have different magic recipes, but whatever that is, I'm gonna repeat it. So Ginny did one Facebook Live on a Wednesday right after lunch, and here, this is what you're looking at right there. So we're gonna keep doing those until that changes. So think about what we all have our own special recipe, but pay attention to what is working for you and try to replicate that. Be conversational. Back to that Visit Findlay page I talked about, they're super conversational, like, what's your favorite thing to eat at Deitch's, or just, it feels like a very simple post, but all of a sudden we have this whole Hancock County conversation going on about loving where we live, and that's what they're trying to accomplish. So, I think just trying to keep those long, long posts, they don't get very good engagement. So, I mean, this may be even a little bit too long, and once I shared it, I can already see maybe it could have been more follower-centric. But, today's resilience pro tip is easy. Support your friends, family members, and coworkers who need a little extra help. And best of all, when we help our friends, we feel better ourselves. How have you been helping others during the stay-at-home order? And then, people started to come in there, like, I'm buying my neighbor's groceries, I mow someone's lawn, I call an old lady every day, whatever that was. So, but I gave the followers something to do, a conversation to start. And also, more importantly, gave them a pro tip to think about. I work with a bunch of mental health professionals, and this is what they're saying, get connected. So make a difference. I think especially on Facebook, kids should post consistently, but not too much. The other platforms like Instagram and Twitter are set up to hold like lots and lots of contacts. So I wouldn't worry so much about posting a lot on those. Facebook, I'd be real careful about how many you post. And then the other thing I want to talk about, I always think about engagement as like a kind of a snowball that I'm trying to get rolling down. I'm pushing it and trying to get it to start to roll on its own down a hill. So like this was a post of Sarah in her video that I showed you. It had so much like engagement around it. So that hit that popularity factor, right, for that algorithm. So Facebook's thinking like, I don't know what's going on at FRC, but everybody wants to see that. So I would always post something really important the next day after a huge post, because Sarah created that momentum. That snowball was already rolling. Facebook's like, I'm going to show FRC a lot of people because people love it. So be sensitive about that. And then I'm almost done. Leverage groups. It's kind of a goofy page, it's Findlay Info, but 5,600 people are on it and they're talking. So if you have a post that you think is important, just share it with that group and they'll share it out to 5,600 people for you. And then finally, use your insights as tools. If you look at this page likes, these are how many new likes we got on our page each day. So I'm the blue, so I'm paying attention to, boy, the day I posted that, 8 more people joined our page. I might want to do more of that. On the bottom though, if you look at these reds, these are people that unfollowed our page. So if you saw a day you lost 5 posts or 5 followers, I would really want to not do that for a while. So pay attention to those. You can just check back, like this was April, whatever happened on March 13th at FRC, we need to do more of that. And then there's also a thing, and sorry for you, all you mental health people, because I've been creeping on you, but you can follow other pages, whoever they want. So I just kind of, it's kind of neat to see what's, maybe it's just happening in your world, and maybe it's happening to everybody. So there's all kinds of tools on Insight. Spend some time there. And finally, use other channels. I'd say only participate in as many as you can do well. So at FRC, we're not doing Twitter. So we're using Facebook, and we're using Instagram and Instagram stories. We put the Instagram, those Post-it notes on the Instagram page. The mindful moments are in the Instagram stories. That kind of connects with the younger demographic. So, we're all going to have different stories, and each platform has, I think, a similar thought pattern. So I just focused on Facebook today. So finally, I'll turn it back to questions. But my last thing I always think about in social media, I always think about when people staff their social media team, think about Winnie the Pooh. And if you put an Eeyore, and we may have an Eeyore that we love deeply, but please don't let them do your social media, because your social media sounds like it came from Eeyore. So if you have a Tigger on your team, and we talked earlier, maybe a little bit of Winnie the Pooh, maybe even we need that empathy from Winnie the Pooh now, but put some joy out there. So if you do put the joy out there, I think you'll see the rewards. So anyway, so that's my last slide. So I'll stop sharing my screen now. We'll go back to everybody. So anybody have any questions?
Julie, I have a question. Could you talk a little bit more about, you mentioned a budget to help boost posts. Do you have a recommendation, particularly for small social agencies that may not have a significant PR budget? Like what would be a recommended amount to put towards that?
I think if you could do at least $50 a month. I mean, so that'd be 50. I mean, it depends if you do advertising or not normally, but 50 times 12. Could you find a way to do that? I mean, I'm going to go development. If you ask me as a donor to fund that, I would fund it. Don't ask me either. But but I don't know. And for $5, you might get almost 2,000 more people to see a post in Hancock County. So, I mean, and maybe you're just really strategic. Maybe it's only a couple of them. The other thing you can do is use your staff to share things for you, or do you have some advocates out there that's a free way to get some more engagement. But I mean, I don't think just compared to other sorts of marketing and how, I mean, you just can't slice this piece any skinnier than you can on social media. So I think it's pretty powerful.
Something to add to that is when you do your boost, you can determine who receives that boost. So maybe you're looking for a specific area that you're trying to reach. And so that's something to consider.
Yeah. Does anybody else?
I just wanted to ask you if you could speak more to the platforms, because I think it's been my experience when I've done internships with different agencies that they feel a lot of pressure to be on every platform.
Yeah, I agree. And I just think that, I honestly think that's one of the biggest mistakes. I think try to decide, do one well and then add a second. But it takes a lot of, can take a lot of staff time to really do it well. So I'd be careful. I don't know. I'm just wired to believe whatever you do, put high quality out there rather than a lot of low quality. And you can do, I mean, there's all this information is accessible. Think of, if you're like, And then I guess another thing I didn't speak to, and I probably should have on my first slide, is really what I know, I've mostly learned from people who are experts. So I would say anyone who does social media for a living, they're always happy to answer questions. I actually was involved in a little Facebook group with, I felt like I was at the big kids table, and somebody who's definitely at least a state expert in tourism, somebody that was in higher ed, somebody that's nonprofit, someone's industry, that they're just like right on the cutting edge. So I just asked if I could join, and I just kind of watched and listened. And so I wouldn't be afraid to ask. There's definitely people in our community that are doing it. We have some I think we have some really strong pages happening right now. So if you could connect with one of those people, I'm a big fan of, I've never had ask anyone for advice and them that told me no in my life. So be brave, just ask somebody, hey, can I go to, virtual coffee. Someday we'll get to go to real coffee, but tell me what you know. And I think they almost always share it. I've never run into anybody that wouldn't share. So I ask a lot of questions. When I see something cool, I ask about it. Like, what is that? Like, that's how I've learned about those animated Canva things. Like, what is that? And then someone said, well, that's the fake Facebook out. And then, so I watched, I did watch a little YouTube video about it. So. Anybody else?
I don't think it's a question, Julie, but there's some comments that say happy birthday.
Oh, I can't see the comments.
Yes.
Today's a big one. Let me see those. Yeah, today's a big one. It starts with a 6.
Well, thank you for sharing your special day with us, and we got to share it with you.
Yeah, I appreciate. It's fun, and it was a gift, when it came up, and I thought it was on my birthday. I thought, this is fun. I get to talk about something I love and think about something I love. So I hope this helped. If anyone has any questions, but please know I don't think I'm an expert. I just play. To me, it's like I guess more of a hobby, or I play with it, or I watch what changes. I think it's fun, and it is an incredibly powerful tool with all the metrics, and really it's pretty spectacular. We can access that for almost free.
Well, Julie, thanks so much for doing this for us, and thank you everyone for attending today. It's so good to see familiar faces.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
It's, even though this platform is new, it's becoming quite common for all of us, and we appreciate the opportunity to share this together. So we will share out the slides and a recording of the webinar. If you have any questions for Julie that you think of after this, please go ahead and you can email her directly, or email myself, and I will forward those to her. I will include your email address, Julie, in the email where I send stuff out, so that they can contact you. With that, if we have any other final comments or questions.
Thanks, everybody.
Well, thank you very much. We'll see everybody soon. Take care.
Be well.